Wes Coughlin here from the F5 show, and I'm going to be showing you how to put together the ImageWest RL1 DSLR Camera rig. If you got one of these bad boys, you'll be getting lots of parts and no instructions, so this is an important video. I'll show you how. What you first want to do is locate this piece right here. It's the riser clamp, and what it's going to do is going to raise our camera up here above the main rail system, and so we're also going to grab our bottom plate, which is going to look like this. You'll have two of these, one for the bottom, one for the top. Take these two. They're going to be looking somewhat like this once they get on the rails. So make sure you have these two pieces. Grab two of the longer rails. Put them through your bottom plate. And then through the bottom part of the riser plate. Make it so that they're about a fifth of the way back on the rails. You want room in the front for your follow focus and your matte box, and also your grips. Tighten these up. Next step, locate the two smallest aluminum rails that come with the RL1. These are going to be hooked up onto the top riser, like so. Now, once you get this together, it gets really easy if we mount this onto a tripod. So I'm going to take a tripod plate, screw it into the bottom of my RL1 plate. Now we can get rolling. Grab your top plate, which looks just like the bottom plate does. You're going to find a little screw in your kit. Screw that into the threaded hole in your top plate. Grab your DSLR camera. And you can see with this camera, we already have the lens gear on it. All you really need to do for your lens gear is find one that is very close to the diameter and then just screw it on real snugly. It doesn't need to be too tight, just enough to make it, be able to focus fine. Now we're going to be mounting our camera on the rails. We're going to be sliding onto the top rails all the way forward so our camera mount is resting on top of the spacer, like so. Tighten the clamps up. Good. Next, we are going to be assembling the follow focus. Pick up the follow focus, loosen the little screw on the bottom so follow focus is loose. Slide it onto the front of the rails all the way back. And make sure your follow focus is on the left side of the camera, because if it's on the right, then it's going to get in some conflicts with the matte box, as you will see. Now, to tighten the follow focus up just right, you want to slide it so you're about a millimeter away from hitting the gears on the lens, and then start tightening it, because the follow focus will actually move. The gear right here will actually come closer as you tighten it, and you don't want it to be too tight. Right now it might be a little bit too tight, so I'm going to loosen it, slide it back a little bit, tighten again. And that's good. It's not binding and it's not slipping. Perfect. Now we are going to be putting together the matte box. Once you get the matte box, should look something like this, except for it'll have a plastic piece on the bottom here. What you need to do is unscrew this plastic piece and then screw on this mount right here that's going to raise the matte box up just a hair, and it even includes the two screws that you'll need in a plastic baggie. Once you get this, first thing you want to do is unscrew the back of the matte box. Take this piece out, and you're going to have to find the right light filter for the front of your lens, and this is going to help block any light spill. This one is just about right, so we'll take this and we're going to actually screw it into the back of the matte box, and this will help us make sure that no light spills into our lens. Put this on the front of the rails like so. One thing we like about the matte box is to have the eyebrow on. It helps us keep a lot of the outdoor highlights out from hitting the lens. So we're going to grab the eyebrow. The eyebrow goes on just by loosening the two blue nuts on top and then tightening them on. Pretty simple, adjustable. Next, we're going to assemble the shoulder mount. First, you want to start off by grabbing the triangle clamp and then the counterweight. The counterweight screws into the back of the triangle clamp. And then you're going to grab 2 more of the long rails so that they mount on the back like so. Then you want to grab your shoulder pad, slide that onto your 2 rails. Oops. You also want to make sure your rails are tight. Then you're going to find your spacer right here. This is just going to ensure that these 2 rails are equally spaced apart. Provides a little bit more stability to have the spacer on. And make sure you screw the screw to the right, because if you screw it to the left, it gets looser. And now, locate your side step clamp, which is going to offset the shoulder mount from the main camera body. Fasten that. And this is going to be fastened to the back of the rails that are already on the camera. The next step is we're going to be putting the grips on the front. These are very easy to set up. Find your 2 L clamps, your last long bar, make sure that the bottom 2 nuts are facing outwards. This will be important. Now this is going to go mounting onto the front of our camera rig. Once you got that mounted up, we are now going to put the grips on. Grab your 2 grips. The first one we're going to put on is the right one, and what we're going to do with this is we're going to slide it pretty close to the center, because we want some more stability when we go one-handed with this, where our left hand is going to be running the follow focus, and our right hand is going to be using for stability to hold us up. So closer to the center helps us out, and the left one is going to be out to the side a little bit, so we have a little bit of space when we do want some extra stability and we're not focusing.
Make sure you tighten these up.
It's very, very important that once you get to this point and almost everything put together, that you make sure you got your grips and all the major components tightened down, so when you pick it up, nothing's going to shift and fall off and you're going to ruin either your camera or the new camera rig itself. So that's how you put together the Wes RL1 DSLR Camera rig. Pretty easy, huh? But what you gotta do now is stop watching the YouTube videos and get off your butt and start filming, because otherwise you got this for no reason and you're not gonna do anything! Just kidding.